Oh, hello everyone, and welcome back to Hands Across the Water, your home of all things Rangers. I'm William, and with me tonight is Baz, as usual. And today we're going to break down the Rangers 3-1 win over Kilmarnock. Finally, we got a win at Ibrox, our first of the season. I can't believe I'm saying that, but unfortunately, that's the case. But we got the win, that's the main thing. It was a big response after recent frustrations, intensity, goals, and plenty of talking points. We'll look at it all, and me and Baz will unpack the whole lot, and we'll see about the big matches we have coming up as well. It's a massive week for Rangers with Hibs, big test at Easter Road on Wednesday, and obviously we all know we're playing them a lot on Sunday, and that's always a tough match. But we'll get into it, Baz. How are you keeping anyway, buddy? You keeping good and a bit happier this Monday than normal?
Definitely happier this Monday doing the podcast after finally sealing a home league victory in the league. So yeah, this should be a more positive podcast tonight. So looking forward to it.
Well, as I say, if you look at the top right hand corner, well, we have our a nice wee poppy badge for this time of year. And Rangers, Barry, at Ibrox, the fans put on an absolutely amazing display. Before we even worry about football, we'll talk about the display and the minute silence. And I'll see when Tom had said it himself after the silence, and he'd said he'd never heard a better silence in his life, and he was right. You couldn't hear a peep. Absolutely fantastic, observed by both Rangers and the Kilmarnock fans. And it's very important to remember our war date, Baz, isn't it?
Nobody does it better than Rangers, and that's not because we're Rangers fans. That's just the facts of the matter is that Rangers do what they do with especially remembrance and as per usual, impeccable, absolutely fantastic display. And the remembrance that they would do outside Ibrox and inside is second to none. And yeah, fair play to Rangers Football Club once again putting on a fantastic display.
Yeah, 100%. As I say, a bit early for some clubs you'll see in down in England and stuff, and the other Scottish teams won't obviously be doing that just yet. But the way it worked out with Rangers, obviously we don't have a home game until after, so obviously it was the right time to do it, and it was now, and it was absolutely amazing. As I say, our troops got to go to Ibrox as always, and they really seem to enjoy themselves as they always do. We've always treated with respect at the quintessential British club that is Glasgow Rangers. What was your thoughts then, Baz? Early doors. Well, we'll start first of all with the team. What was your thoughts on the lineup and a bit of a formation change by Danny Rohl?
Well, obviously we played the two up top, which saw Danilo getting a start, and that probably actually surprised a few. I would say it surprised me seeing Danilo up front, because he hasn't really had many minutes recently. So that was quite a surprise. But I was also intrigued to see what Danny was going to actually do, because when you play the two up top, there's a slight formation change in the midfield and how you actually, you know, develop the game. So that when I first seen it, I thought, you know something, this is good. He's looking at different options. He's looking to see where with the squad he can tweak things and make us more positive on the attack. So I was initially when I seen the team sheet, I was actually rather pleased. I thought maybe one or other two players might have got a wee start. I was maybe Alexa Cameron, maybe he might have got a start, but he went ahead with the team that he did, and yeah. I think the fact is that Donny's obviously looking at things. He's observing things from the training pitch and from his first game, and I think that's a positive thing from Donny, that he's going to use all his coaching abilities and maybe tweak things now and again for certain teams. And I was quite impressed that he made such a bold decision at the start.
Yeah, I think some of us didn't know if it was going to be a 4-4-2. We didn't know at the very start, as you say, until obviously you get to watch the game and you start to see it. And it was definitely going forward anyway. It was a 3-5-2. It seemed to be for me anyway. But Danilo was probably playing a wee bit more wide, and Miowski was obviously the middleman. But I think the comment there, let me see, James says, he's still learning what his players are capable of. And that's basically what it is, isn't it? It's a bit of trial and error at the minute, seeing who can do what for you. But it was definitely better than what it has been, Baz. It seemed to work. And I think, do you think it was maybe Maxi Kasama playing the right wing back role. Magoma was definitely more comfortable in the left wing back role because that's all he's ever played before he came to us. He hadn't actually played left back; he was always left wing back in his clubs. I thought he looked a wee bit better. But do you think the Kasama decision was maybe just to give a bit of pace for like Tavernier there? Maybe after looking at the brand game and seeing there's a bit of a weakness, when that through ball come through, it was maybe just a wee tweak to give a wee bit more, give a wee bit of a hand there in that side of the park for Tav.
It's an interesting one. I think there's definitely pace, a wee bit more pace needed in the right hand side, and with that man getting a slight knock before the game, that maybe actually is the reason why Rohl actually went down that particular route. Moore hasn't really been on fire, so he wasn't going to get a start, and Curtis hasn't really played. So I think the natural position of Gassama to the right, which he has played this season, was a pretty easy one, to be fair to him. I would also imagine that if he thought there was a slight counter, Gassama might have had the pace to come back and help at the right hand side as well. But he didn't really need to do it too often, to be fair. But
yeah, no, as I say, I don't know if Baz, I think he just paused there for a second, but I don't know if it was you or my internet, buddy. As I say, no, I thought we definitely played better. There's a few comments there whenever looked like the Great Wall says whenever looked like actually losing the game, which is a fair comment. It was a nice finish though from Cornelius, who I thought played very well. Baz, I'll be honest with you, I was actually quite surprised that he didn't get a start for Bran, because if I don't know if the guys and gals watching will agree with me, but I think he's actually our best centre back out of all the options that we do have. But it was good to see him back in the game. He composed himself very well, both defensively, and obviously he was a threat a couple of times going forward. But it was nice to see him getting the finish.
Well, if you look at Cornelius, he's probably the most comfortable looking with the ball. He tends to when he's got the ball to his feet, I tend to think there's a better chance of him not losing it. He makes a better pass. He finds his man better probably than Suter or Giga. I think that is probably the biggest thing. But he looks composed. He's got a great left foot on him, by the way, and he seems to interchange with the midfield and the left back very, very well. He knows when to make those wee runs and make good space for himself. And his actual short passing is quite good. I like the way that Magoma can shift back and allow Cornelius to slightly move forward a wee bit, and we don't really get that with Giga and Suter. That doesn't tend to happen with those two. So yeah, I think Cornelius, as the weeks go on, I actually think he will become our main top centre half.
Yeah, another one I was going to ask you, and Sid's already come up with it before I could say it to you, Baz. But Dio, I thought he came in the team again, looked very bright, nice wee turns and stuff. But as he said, the Rothwell Rosson thing just doesn't seem to work. But Rothwell, unfortunately, I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know if it's an injury, because I say we've seen him in the last few seasons and he's been really good. But for us this season, he's just looked a wee bit passive and slow. And Sid's right there. And hopefully, maybe as he gets under Rohl here and obviously more training and the work something out, maybe we'll see him sort of doing stuff for us. But definitely with Dio coming in, I thought the midfield looked a wee bit definitely more pace in it, didn't it?
Well, Dio tends to move forward into more of a number 10 than what Rothwell would. Rothwell tends to sit more in the 8 and the 6. He doesn't tend to really break the lines, whereas Diamandi does tend to do that. But I think that's just down to the fact that Diamandi has better legs than Rothwell. I think there's more energy in his legs than what Rothwell has, and he probably is slightly quicker. So I think Diamandi can get around the midfield a lot sharper than what Rothwell can, because Roskin's a great wee player, but he wouldn't have the same energy in his legs as Diamandi in terms of the overall running about the midfield. But then that pairing seems to be better than Rothwell and Roskin. I think you either play Rothwell or you play Roskin with a partner. I don't think, from what I've seen evident this season, that the two of them playing together actually give us much. You know what I mean? William, don't give us all that energy in the midfield as much. But the problem with Diamandi is he can play well at the weekend, and then you mightn't have a good game on Wednesday night. So it's getting the consistency out of Diamandi.
This is it, you know what I mean? But he deals a weird one sometimes because sometimes that's what's annoying about him because sometimes he can play so well. He reminds me of Kamara a wee bit, you know, because Kamara used to be sometimes he was unplayable and other times he didn't look interested. But that can happen to anyone, you know. Not everyone can play brilliant all the time, you know, but he can be frustrating, I think, because we know what he can give us, you know. But as I said, I thought we played well, Baz, in the first half. I don't think we were fantastic, to be honest, but I thought we were okay. But without really worrying too much, because you know it wasn't as if Kilmarnock were battering down the door. But unfortunately, with Rangers, we always have a bit of a nonsense in us, and unfortunately, we had another one, and it's just the way it works out for us, Bazil. We've had Big Butland been absolutely fantastic, saved our bacon quite a few times, but when Rangers were starting to get a bit of a foothold as a team, it ended up Big Butland made a bit of a mistake, and you could see it in his face. He was gutted, you know. But it was one of those things, and that's a problem for a goalkeeper. You make one mistake, and 9 times out of 10, it's getting into your net, doesn't it?
It does. It sort of reminded me of Butland last season, the way he made some errors. But I'm going to be honest with you, William. I'm not going to hold it against Butland because the facts are this season, Butland's been our most consistent player on the pitch all season, and we've had some shocking results this year. But his shot stopping and some of his decision making all season has been fantastic. So we can give him we can allow him a mistake. We don't want to see him making any mistakes, but I think Butland has played that well this season that we can forgive him for that. What my worry is, and I said to you in the weekend about Butland is that I'm hoping it doesn't stay in his head. I'm hoping he doesn't. It's not a springboard for him to start doubting himself again, because we don't need a Butland. When the rest of the team's starting to get a wee bit ahead and starting to play better, we don't need our goalkeeper reverting back to last season. So fingers crossed that Jack just dusts that down and moves on from that, and we can see the way he's been playing all season again for the rest of the season. You know, goalkeepers make mistakes with him. You know, The problem is, you come flying out, you go to punch it, you completely earshot miss it. But what I would say is the defending behind Butland was absolutely woeful too. I mean, nobody was anywhere near the guy when he scored the goal. Nobody, and they weren't marking their man whatsoever. So it wasn't just Jack's fault, you know.
No, 100%. You don't want to. As I say, we have to bring it up, obviously, because it was a bit of a harder, and obviously it led to a goal, so we are going to bring it up. But if we're being honest, I think he saved our bacon and saved those players' bacon quite a few times. There's a few in the comments as well, as we're going to get into the second half here. That he did. I think it was actually Tav missed his man on the back post, and it ended up Butland with an absolute fantastic save. So a bit what you're talking about would have stayed in his head, but it didn't take him too long to shake that off. But just before we get into the second half, just towards the end of the first half, it looked like, well, thanks to a bit of a harder from the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, we thought we got ourselves straight into the game. But unfortunately, it was offside the way it worked out. I think it was obviously if the keeper's over, he counts the way it is with your defensive offside rule, and unfortunately Miowski was just unfortunate with that one.
He doesn't come out quick enough. I mean, but he's not anticipating that scenario to happen. You know, he's expecting the goalkeeper to put it away up into the midfield, and he sort of trots back into his position. So his awareness when the ball did come back was fantastic. I mean, he pounced on the ball and put it in the net. You know, an instinctive striker, that's what to do. But yeah, he was well offside. When I seen the replay, I went, yeah, he's very clearly off. If anything, at least he's aware. His intellectual of a striker is there. He didn't know what was going to happen, but when it did, he reacted quickly. He was first held the ball, so but we were unlucky to go. Again, goalkeepers make mistakes. You know what I mean? Fortunately for that particular goalkeeper, he got away with it.
Yeah, well, it's good to see the fans clap the team off and stuff, because you know yourself, if that had been another certain manager and Kilmarnock got an equaliser just before half time, it would have been mental. But look, the team and the support definitely, Bar, you can tell that the supporters are desperate to back someone. Like Danny Rohl's name was getting sung even at 0-0 and stuff at the start. So, but I think that's maybe due to he showed a lot of respect there as well. But we'll talk more about Danny Rohl at the end. But he showed a lot of respect, like wearing a suit. And I know some people are like, I don't care if he wears a mankini as long as he's winning. But the majority of the supporters do care, they suit the brown brogues, and a manager be able to say, no, if that's tradition, I'm going to respect it. So I think he's done himself well there, going over to the fans at Brand and stuff as well, and facing up when he didn't have to do that. He did not have to do that, but he went over to them and had a chat with them. I think he done the same in the airport, actually. He backed Thelwell and Stewart were under a bit of the caution. It was actually Danny Rohl who decided, look, I'll go over and have a chat with these here. So he showed the supporters more respect in a week than what likes of Russell Martin has since he was there the whole time. So it's good to see the fans not getting, sticking with him in the team bar even at 1-1 at half time.
If we talk about the brogues and the suit, I mean, if you want to start off well with the Rangers support, there are traditions that you need to adhere to. You need to look at that. I mean, the majority of supporters, that will be important to. Some are just like, we got to win no matter what. If he's not wearing a suit, he's not wearing a suit. But for me personally, and I called this out for Martin the whole time he didn't wear one, get the fact that, there's certain traditions at Rangers must be upheld. That's what ends up endearing you to the support. And obviously that conversation's been had before Danny's taken the position. If you look back, William, Gerrard, when he first came to Rangers, he said, I'm not a suit guy, but I respect the traditions of the club. Danny Rohl is doing the same thing. And I think that gives you a wee bit of a springboard straight away with the support to say, look, I respect your club, I respect your traditions, and I will follow them. And I'm going to be on board with that with you. And that's a great start for him. The way he conducts himself is great with the support. The way he takes the time and effort to go and speak to them is fantastic. Because Rangers fans, that's what they want: communication. They want to hear from these guys, and they want the feedback from them. Especially these guys that travel all around Europe. These guys that go every single week and they go to every single game. The fact that a manager comes over and understands that and gives those guys the respect, and gals, by the way, the respect that they're there, they've paid their hard-earned money to go and watch these games, I think is fantastic. Danny has hit the nail on the head straight away here with the support. I think he's done everything exactly the right way.
Yeah, no, I agree, Baz, 100%, mate. There's Gary Anderson. I wonder if it's the famous Gary Anderson. Awesome pod, guys, as usual. You should have more viewers than you do. Always spot on with other people. Thanks, Gary, and I'm glad you enjoy the show, mate. And there's anyone that's watching, if you like, just hit the like button, subscribe to us. Even, we just hit the share button and put it on your social pages and stuff, and then more eyes get on it, and hopefully more people subscribe and stuff. But listen, we just appreciate, even if there's a couple of you watching, sitting with us and agree with us, it's like sitting in the bar with our mates. That's why we do it. So, but I appreciate comments like that. It's very nice. There's Sid saying suit for me. Let me see what makes our club unique, which is correct. We've got an RB comment in here from the Bold and Blue 1872, a Rangers podcast. If the manager earns the right to change tradition, I don't think the fans would mind. Martin certainly didn't earn it, so he was in no position to challenge tradition. I think that's a cracking comment as well there. So Wallace, let me see. Wallace says it'd be even better if a collarette. Yeah, get him a collarette in the 12th. Any match of the 12th, we should tell Danny Rohl, we've got a big tradition here. You have to stick a collarette on the 12th. I bet you'd do it. But we'll go into the second half here, Baz. And you know what I liked about the second half was that Danny Rohl, even though it wasn't panic stations, yes, we did control the game possession-wise, but he's seen a few things that he wasn't impressed with. He thought, I can change, I can do a few tactical tweaks here. Miyoski came off. I think actually a few people had asked Danny Rohl after that, thinking it was a niggler or something, and he sort of went, no, he just seen things that he thought would maybe help the team out on the day, and he did make a few changes, like some Mikey Moore come on. To be fair, I thought Mikey Moore actually probably had one of his better games for us, which was good to see, but it's good to see that we'll have a manager there, Baz, who's willing to change things early.
It's identifying the problems early, isn't it? And making the decisions early, and not waiting to 60, 70, 80 minutes before you make those changes. Danny has observed the first half. He has seen where we were slightly weaker and where we could be more positive. And the changes were actually very, very good. Mikey Moore, there's obviously a player. Mikey Moore is just getting it out of him. And probably coming off the bench at the minute's probably the best thing for him. And because the last two times he's come on, he's actually played relatively okay. But it's all about when he's making decisions at the right time. He does, and he doesn't look like he's afraid to do it. And I wouldn't say it was a knee-jerk reaction. You know, sometimes managers make knee-jerk reactions to try and change games. I think it was genuinely, he's looked at the first half and went, you know, something, if I can tweak this particular position, if I can maybe go to a back three, widen the pitch a wee bit, then I can get in behind them better. And for Danny Rohl, it worked wonders.
Yeah, just look at there at CJ. In Spain, that man, and what he's one of our loyal followers. He's sitting there in Spain and enjoying himself. He's still got us, still watching us two lunatics. Fair play, mate. Thank you very much. I hope you're enjoying yourself. Where me and Baz are jealous. We're still stuck here in Ulster at the minute. The freezing cold and the clocks have went back, as you know. So it's pitch black out there early. But I'm glad you're in Spain and enjoying yourself, mate. But you're still tuning in this, so appreciate that. Let me see. Yeah, just so we got the goal early. As I say, just before that, Tav, I think, lost his man at a good header from the commanding player. What a great save from Butland. It could have very easily been 2-2, as you say. You know, it could have got in his head, could have been panicking, but he didn't. The big hand was there. Wallop, confidence straight away again. But I think Tav owes Butland one there.
But it's not the first time Tavernier's got caught sleeping at the back. He done it on Thursday night as well, you know, with one of the goals. And, you know, Tavernier needs to be a much more aware around him of what's actually happening, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, you're right. Jack makes a fantastic save, and that's when he's at his best. My only issue would be is when we see moments like that, especially against certain teams, we still have that weakness and that rawness at the back, where the defenders aren't staying in their proper positions and they're not making the right decisions. And that's something that Danny really needs to work on over the next course of weeks and months, especially when he can't recruit any players till January. Is trying to make sure these guys stay alert at all times and stay in their right positions. And that includes the captain. And I know there's a lot of disagreement between Tavernier and, you know, some fans are with Tavernier, some fans aren't with Tavernier, but I don't look at it like that. I just look at the moment. And when the players lose possession or they're not in the right position, it doesn't matter whether it's Tavernier or Mark Zorans or Joe Rothwell, you call every player out as it is. Because if Jack doesn't make that save, that game could have turned very different. But fortunately enough, it didn't work out like that. Jack makes the save and we move on from that particular phase.
Yeah, 100%, as I say, you know, because then you're starting to panic. You're going off for. Do you know what I mean? Don't tell me how I was going to end this here. Is going to be, you know, it was a bit of that way. But as I say, Rangers went on. We got ourselves a nice goal as well. I thought Danilo's goal was absolutely fantastic. Baz, it was a great move from Magoma because Magoma's got a bit of a slagging recently. And here, you deserve it when you don't play too well. But I thought he was, as I say earlier in the show, said he was not that left wing back role. He definitely suited it better. But I thought with that cross in was absolutely fantastic. And Danilo, a player who, you know, unfortunately for him, hasn't been able to get on the pitch that much. I think Russell Martin only really threw him on very, you know, late in games when he had fuck all else left, and it was throw everything at the wall and hope something works out. So he didn't get much minutes, but to come on, play pretty, I thought he played okay, and to get that finish was absolutely fantastic because that was one of those kind of finishes. No keeper was saving that. It was just perfect, but there wasn't even that much pace on the header. You know, it was just a lovely glide and bang, absolute cracker.
It's a fantastic cross in, but it's like all instinctive strikers use the pace of the ball coming in. That's, you know what I mean? If you utilize the right pace on the ball with your head, there's every chance you'll get that good direction. I was so pleased for Danilo because, you know, he's been with us quite a while now and he's had loads of injuries and he's made comebacks, he's got injured and all the rest of it. But that was an absolutely beautiful header. And to be honest with you, in real time, it didn't look as good as you'd seen the replays. As when you've seen the replays and the actual different angles of the goal, it was an absolute cracking header. The wee man done burn it like, and I was so pleased for Danilo because, you know, we paid £6 million for him, and it's good to see a wee bit of a return with him as well. And playing with a smile on his face, he looked a lot happier in that pitch with him than what he has in the previous couple of coaches. He looked more at ease around the pitch. He was more confident. He was willing to mix in. He was willing to go out to the left. He was coming into the centre. And to get a goal, I think it actually capped off a very good display from Danilo.
Yeah, no, it was good to see him get his goal. Hopefully, we'll see his dad over again, bouncing about in the stands like last season. And we'll
Yeah.
know everything's going, maybe go, because I think everyone enjoyed that last season when his dad was over for a while, and Danilo was having his best bit of form in around that time. Um, but but I'd say Baz definitely better inside the few changes. The manager wasn't scared to make changes. He brought the likes of Max Aarons and stuff on as well. And then one name where we're going to talk about, Chermiti, who also like the support's been on his case, but that's what's going to happen if you're bought for 8 million and add-ons. I think it's up to 10 million. People's just it's gonna be pressure, as simple as that. But I thought he played well for a start. Before we even talk about his goal, I think his overall game, he was a bit more confidence in himself. It seemed like, he was chasing the ball down. He was being that figurehead at the top, bringing others into play. I think Mickey Moore had a good chance as well when he had stopped the ball, trapped the ball down, and let Mickey Moore take the ball off him because he was the better option. But he also got himself a goal, and he seemed to enjoy it. Maybe wasn't the greatest strike in the world, but I would say if Jack Butland had that one in, we'd probably all be cracking up. But that's not the point. The point is he just needed that goal, get the monkey off his back, and hopefully now he can go on and start banging a few more in.
It was quite actually when Chermiti came on, the support was actually quite downbeat when they actually seen the change when Chermiti actually did come on the pitch, and I was sort of thinking, that must be awful for a player to come on and not really get any real support of the substitution, because that's the way it felt at the time. But fair play to the fella, he came on and he dusted himself down. He got around the pitch. He made himself big. And what was actually impressed me was about Chermiti was at the weekend, his touch was good with the feet. I know we've seen a couple of times with the chest and using his head, but it was his closer control. Granted, he gave away a free kick at the very start when he came on, and I thought, here we go again. But he played better after that. He gave us a good outlet. And getting the goal for him, it doesn't matter whether it's a tap in, doesn't matter whether it's a header, it doesn't matter whether it's a long range shot. It's about getting that goal. It's about making your mark. And at the weekend, that was a big goal for him. I know he scored a goal there for the Portuguese, the younger Portuguese team there, but he hadn't scored a league goal in a couple of years. And that's a hell of a burden to carry around you, because everybody talks about it. Everybody thinks you're a dud. Everybody thinks that we spent all this money on somebody and he's not going to make it. So for him personally, to get that goal at Ibrox was fantastic. I'm not going to go all overboard with this, because the reality is it is Kilmarnock. They weren't very good at the weekend, and but he does get the goal and it's fantastic. We'll play Hibs here on Wednesday night. We'll play the Emmons in the semi-final. If he gets minutes there, will he replicate what he done at the weekend? That's when the fans will start to trust him and when they'll start to really get behind him. But to be honest, William, when he did come on there at the weekend, he couldn't really have done much more than he done. I actually thought he played quite well.
Yeah, 100%. We'll sort of go through this because we're going to half an hour point, and as I say, because we're only doing the Mondays, we've quite a lot to talk about. We've got Hibs, we've got the semi-final stuff, but just to sort of end it off, Baz, last big moment probably was the Raskin offside goal. Nice bit of play between him and Mikey Moore as well, and lovely finish. Unfortunately, though, it felt like 10 minutes. I don't think it was just as long as that, but it felt like that. For waiting for VR, and you're thinking, fuck me, if you're talking like a toenail here, if it's taking that length of time, as just let the goal play, because that's what people are to watch goals, not there to stop goals, clear and obvious. But if you're waiting 5-6 minutes or whatever, it's not too clear and obvious. But we didn't get that one, unfortunately, but it was a nice wee bit of play.
Yeah, it was a lovely piece of play from Raskin and Mickey Moore. The way the boys actually interplayed with each other was absolutely fantastic, and the tore Kilmarnock to shreds with that particular move. We could talk all night about the officiating and the VAR in Scotland, or even all around Europe. It's absolutely diabolical the way to do things. I mean, having to wait that amount of time is absolutely just mind-boggling. I know, for me, you see if there's a fine margin. You see if it's really, really tight, the attacking team should be given the benefit of the doubt. If it's that tight, as you say, if it's a toenail in it, the offensive play should always get the benefit, but they didn't. But what for me was, it was just the way Rangers made the move, the way they played, the way they were, how quickly they made the passes, and I think going forward that's something to look at, because probably 9 times out of 10 when you do that sort of move, we'll probably get a goal out of it. So it's
Yeah.
good to see that Danny's got them working well in training and interchanging with each other and how they link the passes up. I think for a Rangers fan, if you're looking at wee moments like that in games, then you're going to see that much more throughout the season. So regardless of VAR check, whether we got it or not, I think going forward, it's an absolute. You can just see what Danny's at with the team and what they're at in training. You can actually see that coming onto the pitch.
Yeah. Right. So that was the end of that match, Baz. 3-1. Look, we're not going to get too excited. We're not going to go overboard. We know there's tougher tests to come. But listen, it was like the way it used to be years ago, Baz. It was a run of them. These games were just run of the mill. You wouldn't be singing in the stands. It's like watching Brazil, but you were the better team. You dominated. You took your chances. A 3-1 win against Kilmarnock's been our bread and butter for years. Now, the last couple of years, it hasn't been that way. Maybe for long, people would say even longer, it hasn't been that way. But you have to give praise when the team. Now we're the first to give them stick when they deserve it. But we'll give praise when it's there too, Baz. I thought all in all, good performance, run of the mill, happy days. And as a few of the comments have said on the title of our show, it's hopefully something to build on for these other games coming up.
That's what it's all. That's all we want to see. All we want to see is progression. We want to see moments in games where we look at things and go, do you know something? We can see what he's trying to do. The previous regime, I don't want to dwell too much on it, but the previous regime, when Rangers went to play, we couldn't see anything that we're trying to do. We couldn't see. There was nothing. It was dead flat. Passy at the back. No forward movements. When I was watching the game at the weekend, and I was thinking, Danny's got them where their mindset is attack, find the space, find the forward pass. You don't need to keep passing it back to wait on something. Just make the moments. But in turn, the players are making space for the pass. The other players are getting into good positions. They're making themselves available. I'm not going to sit here and go, Danny Rohl's going to be the best manager I've ever had. No, but it's just nice to see a fresh change. What the supporters are crying out for.
Yeah, 100%. And what I also liked about it is, Baz, and you know yourself, under Clement, under Beale, under Russell Martin, it's been a wee bit. People know what way Rangers are going to set up. No matter if we'll win the game before, lose the game before, it doesn't matter what our form is. It doesn't matter fuck all. It was the same nonsense every week. We knew the formation. We knew how, whether Danny Rohl, we've already seen him playing a few different formations and change it at halftime. Now, and the thing is, if likes of us and all of us watching here know exactly how we're going to play, those players are the players in the Scottish League, and also obviously the managers of these other teams know exactly how we're going to play. So it makes their team talks a lot easier because they know what it's like to play Rangers every week. But as I say now, it's going to put a wee bit of doubt in some managers' heads because they're going to come to Ibrox now and go, how long? No, Rangers might play 4-3. Rangers might play 3 at the back. Rangers might switch it up. And even if you do that, say in the second half, we change it again, the Aussie come off, and Mickey Moore come on and change the shape a wee bit again. And even if it takes 10, 15 minutes for another manager to look at that and react, maybe that could be enough for us to get another goal and win the game when we got that goal early. And these wee different changes can catch teams out, which is something we haven't had for a long time.
The proof's going to be on Wednesday night. When we set up on Wednesday night to play Hibs, that's when you're going to see what Danny Rohl's tactics are against Hibs, because beating Kilmarnock at home, that's exactly what we should have been doing. We should have been beating Motherwell there. We should have been beating St Mirren. We should have been beating Dundee. We should be beating all them teams at Ibrox. That's the way it used to be. That was always a foregone collision, and that's what happened at the weekend. So these managers now, with Danny Rohl, with Russell Martin, it was easy. Rangers are coming, just go at them. They'll fold like an accordion. They'll be no problem. Very, very easy to play against. This particular setup that Danny Rohl has, and when he shifted he basically went to a 3-5-2, so with actually nobody even noticing. The players seem to blend in really well with 3-5-2. So other managers now are going to be wary of Rangers and thinking, right, hang on a wee second, this isn't the Rangers we thought that was going to come here. So I'm actually intrigued, William, for Wednesday night, because yesterday was good, but Wednesday night's going to be the tricky game, an away game to Hibs. That's where you find your mettle. That's where you find what Danny's trying to do, and will it work in an away game against Hibs? because they'll attack you as well, William. You know, they'll come at you.
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. There's no doubt about it. Like Hibs, you know yourself at Easter Road, they have their tails up. They went up to Pataudry there, had a great great. I can't remember the guy's name. Their record signing. He's had 2 starts, 2 goals for them. You know, so he's in form. They've got a good team, Baz, and they know how to play us. You know, hopefully now, as I say, our manager, you know, he's going to have something else in his head. Maybe do a different setup that can help to counteract that. But this is why I'm scared. I'm scared to go too all in because, and I'm talking about the manager here as well. You know, the manager could think in his head, this my team's starting to baby steps, which it was, you know, and he could maybe think he trusts a few of them. But you know what they're like, Baz? A bit of pressure on Wednesday, and the next minute could be like Bambi on ice, and then boys could fold, like as you said, or accordion or a deck of cards, and it can happen. And this is why we need hopefully the mentality has changed as well. You know, if Danny Rood sort of gets that confidence back in them, and even if we are under the caution, and we will be at times, there's no doubt about it, because Hibs, we know what they're like at Easter Road against us, they'll be up for it. But it's up to us to ride that storm out when it comes and show that we can play football. And you know, and if we get a result there, fuck me, the confidence going into Sunday's game would be big.
Absolutely. I mean, James put a comment there with him. He's more worried about Hibs than Celtic at the moment. How bizarre is that? And that is actually true, because I'm actually very confident for Sunday at the minute. The way we're playing and the way we can see moments yesterday and how we can play, I can be very confident about that on Sunday, especially the way that lad's playing. They're absolutely woeful at the minute. They are absolutely bog woeful. But Hibs aren't. Hibs are in a wee bit of form. Hibs are going to be a very, very tough game, especially being away at Hibs. And they're going to be well up for us, as they always are. We all know it. When we go to Hibs, they're well up for it. So, which is strange, William. I never thought I'd be saying that this season. I've been more worried about that myself, but that is the truth. But again, we'll not really know, William, until the match kicks off on Wednesday. You know, we'll see the team sheet. Will he play the 2 up top in this game? I would probably say he won't. I'd probably say he'll play one sitting striker and probably put an extra midfielder in against Hibs, try and control the game early. I would suggest that's what Danny Rohl will probably try and achieve. Maybe a Connor Barron being put in there for the energy in the legs to get about. Could be a Lyle Cameron. But I think you're going to see one of them boys playing on Wednesday night just to keep that. You know, because Hibs will they'll play it fast. They'll try and attack us, and I think another wee midfielder in there just to mop things up slightly. Don't think Joe Rothwell's a game for him, to be honest. I don't think that'd be a good game for Joe Rothwell. But yeah, as I say, you will not know that. When I see the team sheet, I'll probably get a slight idea in my head of how we're going to start and how we're going to try and approach the game. But what do you think, William? I don't think he'll play 2 up top.
It's a hard one, Baz. It is a tough one, because I'm sort of thinking, did he play that, you know, at the home match? Did he try that there as a bit of a, this is a formation I want to go to in the harder games, you know, or did he just do it because he just thought this is the best formation on the day? And as you say, it's hard for us. We don't know yet until we see, you know, as the games go on. But I like that the manager, yes, it was a poor performance and in the Brand game, but he looked at tweaks. And how do we make us harder to beat for a start before anything? How do we safeguard the defence and then worry about going forward? So that's what I liked about the game has come on. And I have no doubt that he'd maybe have seen a few tweaks even in the second half that he can improve on again. But it's trying to, as you say, bring it into Wednesday. I don't know if he'll start. I don't think he'll start Miowski. Here's a question for you: if he does go with one up front, and guys and girls in the comments, you can all stick who you think as well. Do you go with Danilo again, or do you think you'd go with Chermiti, or what would your thoughts be if you were just playing the one?
For me personally, I think if he's playing the one, he'll probably play Chermiti.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll tell you the reason for that. If you take Miowski out of the situation, right, he's not going to play Danilo up front on his own. Danilo doesn't work as a number one. Danilo, it works a lot better with a 2. And unless you're getting a number 10 very close to Danilo, it won't work. I think he could, by the way, he could play a 2 with Danilo and Chermiti. That would actually be an interesting combination with them 2 together. The big lad and the wee lad, but like the old Haley McCoy style combo, you know. That sort of, you know, the big guy with a big head winning the ball, heading it down, Danilo gets into the box and scores. That's a I never actually thought about that one there to there now about actually Chimity and Danilo maybe starting. That would be an interesting combination, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, this is it. And again, I don't, me and Baz aren't on here saying Miowski's useless or whatever, because we know it's just at this minute in time, Miowski just doesn't look like. But then it's hard to give anyone a bit of abuse in our team, isn't it, Baz? Strikers especially, because we know like they haven't had that much to work on, really, have they? Like, and I know Danny Rohl's only come in recently, and obviously we're starting to change that a wee bit, but I would say, because there's definitely a space for Miowski as well. But I know what you're saying for this game on the Wednesday. But then you've got a semi-final as well, on Sunday. So it's a mix and match, isn't it? And trying to keep everybody fresh.
It's a difficult one because at the same time you want to get on on Wednesday night you want to get a win. You want to get in the ascendancy. You want to keep that. You want to start a win and run. You want to get. You win at home. Be nice to get an away win. Even if it's scrappy on Wednesday night, it won't matter. If we come out 2-1, 1-0, 3-2, it doesn't really matter. It's just getting that away win, isn't it? And then going on Sunday and going at them. I think Wednesday night's very important. I know you're calling about the injuries and stuff, but the way that is at the minute, I think Danny Rohl's main focus will just be Wednesday night. He'll not even be thinking about Sunday at the minute.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. A game at a time. But as I say, the confidence, like the season's been shite. We all know that. The start of the season has been dire, our worst in fucking years, decades. But we're only 5 points behind them, and it shows you how poor they are. Because we have been this league should be gone and buried from us, But listen, Hearts have been very good. Hearts beat them. I was watching that match, and Hearts deserved that win. They have got their tails up. I don't think they're going to implode like Aberdeen did last season. It's easy for people to say, they'll implode, but Aberdeen's still struggling now, if you get what I mean. So we can see that their struggles haven't finished, even though they won a cup last year, but league form, they've been awful, and that's even went into this season. I think Hearts are going to be a bit more of a challenge, but we can only worry about ourselves, and get ourselves. But if we get a win, you imagine that away, and if we get a win on Wednesday for Danny Rohl, they'll be going mental and have confidence.
Yeah.
That would give us all, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Wednesday night's a huge game. You see, if we can get it right, if we can if tactically we can set up well, and if we can go to them and the boys listen to what Donny's trying to tell them, and we get a win, Sunday becomes absolutely even bigger than what it already is. It becomes even bigger because the league form from both clubs has been diabolical. The only good thing is I can see in Rangers where, and I said this earlier in the show, I can see with this new coach what we're trying to do. I can see what positive steps he's trying to implement into the team. Brendan Rodgers looks like a broken man at the minute and somebody that doesn't want to be there. This is a huge opportunity for us come Sunday. And if we can win on Wednesday night, I honestly think the positivity with the fans, the positivity with the players, we would have a fantastic chance on Sunday to actually get to the final. I really, really believe that. And I know we're sort of getting ahead of ourselves, and we're just because of one game there. But I seen more in one game yesterday than I seen the whole season and pre-season.
Yeah,
I seen more than one match than the whole of the season. And at the end of the day, when some of these players, they're very, very good. They're very gifted players. They're good players. It's just getting the right tune out of them with the right person coaching them. And at the minute, it's looking good. And why not be positive? It's been crap all season. So why should we not feel good? And why should we not look forward to Wednesday night and look forward to Sunday with positivity? That's what this club needs.
Yeah, 100%. As I say, just like they've got Falkirk at their midden, and Hearts are away to St Mirren. So if we weren't to get a win, if them two teams were away to get more points again, then you really are struggling then at that stage. So it is so important for us. But the problem is, Baz, you can draw at Easter Road and stuff. It can happen. Obviously, when you can lose there, it's a tough place to go at times. But I think it's the problem for us. The way we need to win so much is because we've been so poor at the start. But that's not a Danny Rohl's fault. Obviously, he's only through the door. But this is why I think that's even more important in this match, isn't it?
Absolutely. But Danny Rohl, the fan, I don't want to harp on about the same thing, but if the fans can see what you're trying to do and they can see something that has got great potential and that it can work, the fans will stand by you. They'll stick with the plan. You know what I mean? In the previous regime, there was no plan. The Rangers fans couldn't see anything good out of what was happening. But since Danny's come in, and we'll take the Brand game was completely different. He was only in the door 2 days. He didn't get any time with these guys whatsoever to try and get anything into their heads. A full week's of training after it, and a few days training after it, and a wee bit more time with him. He got a tune out of them against Kilmarnock. And hopefully the same will be on Wednesday night, and hopefully again on Sunday, and hopefully the rest of the season. What I would point out is that, you were talking about Hearts. Hearts have been fantastic this season. Absolutely, they have been really, really good, and they've set the benchmark. And it's up to Rangers to get that consistency winning. But the other thing is too, whenever we can get decision, we play Hearts now 3 times. There's 9 points to play there if we can keep a consistent run. So you've always got to look at the positivity of it and just keep going. You know what I mean?
Or we could do the other thing and just give them 9 points. Make sure they win the league. No, they're not doing. Oh no, we'll not go down that road. But so I know. Hopefully, as you say, Baz, if you win your game against Hibs, the tails go up in the confidence, and everyone's back in it. In semi-final, anything can happen. It's a one-off match, but league form, it would still be important. Obviously, come back to our next league games. It gives us a wee bit of a boost, thinking we're going the right direction. And if you just keep plugging away, you never know where you can be. But as I say, we're going to thinking our heads towards a semi-final game. They do have quite a few injuries. I think someone in the comments made a point to that actually got a few injuries in their last European match as well. They look ropey as fucking. I can't remember the guys. One of the defenders, he scored an own goal, I think, for against them for Hearts at the start. He looked a wee bit shaky on it. So they're definitely not a team to be fearing at the minute, Baz.
There's no reason why we should fear them. No reason whatsoever. And we won't fear them. We'll go there. We'll go with a good game plan. We'll go with good players, very good players that can make a difference in those games. Nico Raskin always raises the occasion in these games, doesn't he? He's the play. He will be well up for somebody. Like, I know there's a question mark on him with some supporters at the minute. Sometimes he plays well, sometimes he doesn't. You mark my words. See, come semi-final, Nico Raskin will be pumped. Nico Raskin will be absolutely well up for it. And hopefully that energy will come to some of the other players as well. They'll rise to the occasion. The likes of Cornelius William, I think is very important in a game like that. Mm-hmm. Jack Butland will always be crucial in games like that. Who he starts is going to be even more crucial. What's the first 11? What formation is he going to go with on Sunday? That's going to be the big thing, and how Danny approaches that particular game.
Yeah, well, I see that Brendan Rodgers, he's actually already named his lineup 6 days in advance. His lineup is referee Nick Walsh, Daniel McFarlane, and Frank Connor, both going in there. VAR Stephen McLean, and another wee friend, Andrew Dallas, as assistant VAR. Does that worry you at all, Baz, when you looked at what's some of the decisions that's happened against us in the past? And I've seen a lot of people in the comments as well not too happy with some of the names on that list there. We've been burnt before by these people that make mistakes on the day, and the apologies come out a few days later.
It's hardly surprising the lineup that they produced for this semi-final. I mean, let's be honest. Scottish football hates the fact that Rangers, want Rangers to be doing well. That's all. Rangers have always fought against adversity with the Scottish League. It's happened for years and decades. Rangers have gone up against it because they're all, they're afraid of Rangers because Rangers are the best. Rangers are the best team. All this jazz. We have to stop Rangers. They're fixated in Rangers, and my appointments with these refereeing and the assistants and VAR for Sunday just actually it cements my thoughts on what they actually try to do to us. But again, what we've got to do is put that at the back of our minds and play the game. Just keep playing the game. Make the chances, put the ball in the net. That's what it's all about. We can't change who's going to be in charge of the whistle. But what we can be in charge of is how we approach the game and how we play on Sunday. and that's all we can do. You know, it's like Chimity. We were talking about Chimity, proving the doubters wrong, proving people wrong. We get the ball, we put it in the net. If we had to put it in 6 times and only get 1 goal and win the match, well be it. We'll have to keep doing it. It's disappointing that those particular people have got in, but what do you do?
Well, yeah, this is it. It's all about what way we turn up on Sunday. You know what I mean? Are we going to be a Ferrari or we're going to be a Vauxhall
Bubble
Vectra?
car.
It depends, but it's all about confidence, isn't it? You know, and all you can do is just win your matches, and you know, and we did that. We did that, as I say, on Sunday, and nobody wants to go over the top, but we done it, and we won it in a good way for me, you know. And as I say, it's all about looking at what'll be interesting to me as well is now Danny Rules give them a good platform, help them with formations and stuff. But it's going to be up to these players now to put it in, Baz. You know what I mean? Because there's only so much a manager can do. It's up to mentality now. We cannot have the likes of Hibs. We'll talk about the Hibs again here just towards the end because that's the game that's coming closest. We cannot have them attacking us and us shitting the bed and just allowing them to, you know what I mean, a few goals up. They have to stand up here, don't they?
Sorry, I was just laughing there at James's comment about keeping be in charge of keeping the water bottles full. I thought that was a cracker there with just going back to charity. But I think that epitomizes what's coming on Sunday. I think we can all get into that mood now of what happens on Sunday. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We just got to keep ourselves right and go in with the right setup and the right mentality. And I'm very positive for the weekend. Well, ask me again after Wednesday night, and then we'll see on that one. But yeah,
that's the same. So yeah, but Wednesday night as well. You know what I'm saying there. It's coming thick and fast, but you want to be excited for these games. You know what I mean? This is what it's all about, isn't it? You know what I mean? And it looks like we'll have we've got someone with a bit of confidence there, a confidence in the suit and brown brogues that can hopefully give us a chance. You know, because if we were going into these games with the last manager, like you wouldn't have a fucking, there'd be no chance getting in there. I think you'd be looking at a couple of hidings, especially away there. But now we've got our pomp again. You know what I mean? As I say, like Cornelius, I think he's going to be important for us, Baz, on both Wednesday and Sunday. He seems to be the calm head there, doesn't he? And in that defense, that you can see he's got experience. You see he's got, he's an international. He's good both going forward and in the defense. You know, so I think he could be big for us.
For me personally, he's an upgrade in John Suter. I have to say, I think Big John doesn't have the same quality as Cornelius. That's just my personal opinion, because John doesn't. I know John he tries and stuff, but I don't think he has that same quality as Cornelius. I think Cornelius is a better player, but I actually think I'm hoping Cornelius can be a wee bit more like what Balogun was. Maybe not the same pace, but that awareness and that smartness to sort of suss things out very quickly. You know, I think Cornelius gives us that a wee bit better. It's a bit more settled, because I don't like Giga and I don't like Suter together. I don't think that combination is. I'd rather see NCL playing, to be honest with you, than Giga at times. So yeah, and Cornelius, yeah, I actually think he's going to be a very important player for us the rest of the season.
Yeah, and we'll sort of wind it down here, but the Bold and Blue 1873 Rangers podcast, they've wrote in quite a few things, so we'll go with this one. 1 week from now, this season could look very different. And how true is that, Baz? You know, it really could. If we get a couple of wins, fuck me, Ibrox will be, the Ibrox when the time comes in the away games and all, it'll be bouncing. It will be like.
Well, 1 week on, the season could be very different. It could be, football can change very, very quickly. Very quickly, with tweaks, with a little bit of little tactical changes, or just letting the players express themselves better in the pitch, finding out, sussing out which players play and they're better in certain situations. And I think that's what Danny's probably looking at. It's like we're second guessing maybe the team on Wednesday night. Daniel will been watched videos from Hibs. He'll be observing how Hibs have played all season, and he'll make tactical changes to what he thinks suits best to play an away game at Easter Road. I think that's the way he will play it. And you might see one or two players and go, whoa, jeez, I didn't see that coming. But he'll obviously identify his squad, and that's why you've got a squad, is certain players maybe are better against certain teams. So I think that's the way Daniel will go about it. And if we can win on Wednesday night, that springboards us on to Sunday. So Wednesday night is much more important than Sunday at this moment in time, because we need to get the victory on Wednesday night to have that elevation. I seen a comment there about Curtis. I'd like to see, you might see Curtis on Wednesday night get a few more minutes under his belt. Because I think that boy does need it, William. I think he needs it. Sunday wouldn't be the time for that because he hasn't played enough minutes yet, but maybe Wednesday night, maybe getting half an hour if things are going well for us and we can get him onto the pitch. It'd be a very interesting Wednesday night. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a very, very good game Wednesday night.
Yeah, definitely. No, and anyone that's asking, because I know people saying, it's Wednesday first and then talk, Sunday after, which is the truth. But the only reason we're chatting about Sunday as well, because obviously we only do we normally only do the Monday nights. But if we can, we'll maybe try and get on. If things go well against Hibs and me and Baz are free, well, maybe we won't promise it, but hopefully if we can maybe get ourselves on for even like a wee half hour live before the semi-final or something, we'll do that and have a chat with you again then. But that's why we're sort of bringing it up today, because we know we don't chat to you from Monday to Monday. But if we don't get on, Baz, what would it be like? It'd be amazing for us to be able to come on here with two good results next Monday and come with smiles on our faces. But we'll try to be positive, don't we? We're negative when we have to be, which we don't want to be. But I think the ones watching know the crack with us. Like we're buzzing to be on here and loving life. You know what I mean? It's just it's how Rangers play as reacts to how the mood of the podcast is going to be.
We're typical Northern Ireland men. We'll call it as we see it. That's all we do. If it's crap, we'll say it's crap. If it's fantastic, we'll say it's fantastic. We don't sugarcoat anything. We'll just, if they're absolutely abysmal, well, yeah, you're abysmal. If you played really well, yeah, you played really well. That's what all we can call it as. At this particular moment in time after the weekend, it's been a good weekend. And let's not forget, over the last 2 weeks, we have clawed back 4 points from them. That's another good positive. Yes, the other Hearts are winning and winning and winning, but we've clawed points back. So it's been positive. European game was slightly different. That was a slight negative. But in terms of the league, I'm hoping that we can, from Wednesday night, we can kick on and just get on a really good run. Just get those wins under the belt and just see where it takes you.
100%. And Gaza72 says, "Hi guys, I'm new to the channel, but I love it." So I'm glad you do, mate. Anyone who has been watching, the comments the feedback's always class. There's ones that don't get to watch live, but get the like from Australia and stuff, so they'll watch us afterwards, and they're always commenting as well. So we appreciate all you that are watching us and enjoy it. That's what it's all about. And a wee bit like the Iron Brew Bear. Let's all hit that share button, people, and I hope you do, and hit the share buttons, hit the like buttons, all those things. But we'll be back with you again. As I say, we'll say Monday, Baz, but if we can do something, we'll try our best to get on, maybe get on before. But just as I say, thank you everyone for watching as always. We love interacting with you and you interacting with us and coming on and giving us comments and stuff. We really do appreciate the feedback, and we appreciate all the support.
100%, William, and this is all about this. That we try and bring our take from Northern Ireland, and what I would say to anybody watching is we're trying to push this Northern Ireland thing really hard and trying to get it out there as far and wide as possible. We've said before, 20% of the supporter clubs in world football and the whole world of Rangers supporter clubs is in this country. So we're trying to push this Northern Ireland voice as high and as hard as we can. It's not all about likes and stuff for us. It's all about getting that message out. It's all about giving our views from our wee country out there, and hopefully everybody enjoys it.
Yeah, 100%, Baz. That's it. We fly the wee red hand. That's what it's all about. And but the support we get from everywhere, it's like we've got CJ in Spain. We'll call him Spanish at the minute because that's where he is. And we've got from all parts of Scotland, all corners of Scotland that watches. There's people from Australia, just everywhere, America, Canada, you name it. We've got so many, and we'll love it.
Don't forget wee Jeff Morrison from Lisbon.
And we Jeff from the start hasn't missed a show. That man, here we go. We Jeff hasn't missed a show from local man from Lisbon, and there's James and stuff from Canada. So it's amazing. So thank you all. We'll be back with you again. Hopefully, as I say, Wednesday. It's going to be tough, but if we get a couple of victories, I say these over the next two, fuck me, the Teddies will be bouncing, and we'll be bouncing in this pod, hopefully as well. Great to have you as always, guys, and we will chat these again soon. Thank you.